Welcome back to my channel. This is Nicole with Made from Scrap, and today we're going to go through the album construction. I'm using a pokey tool here to go ahead and create 3 holes through the center of my signature. I'm going to hold the papers all together with some clips on either side, and then I'm going to be using some waxed thread. I've also seen folks use thread that they pull through beeswax, and this helps it not unravel. But I'm going to go ahead and stick my needle through that top hole from the center of the signature, and then go back through that center piece, down through the bottom, and then back through the center. And then what you are left with is the end that you started with can be used here to go ahead and just tie a square knot, just like the beginning of your shoelace. I'm going to tie it here towards the top. You can see that I'm just trying to make sure it's taut. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off, and here I'm going to end up punching out a couple of circles from a scrap paper. And after I ink the edges of those, I'm going to use my hot glue, and I'm going to go ahead and glue those to either side of those little strings. I'm just doing that as a little decoration. And I've put beads on these before, but this is a little flatter, so that's my first signature. I'm going to go ahead and do this 2 more times, and I'm just going to put together a little music here while you watch. Enjoy! Okay, now for the lay flat album cover, I have cut 3 pieces of chipboard. I have my 2 covers that are 6 inches wide by 7 inches tall, and then I have 1 spine piece that is 3 inches by 7 inches. I've cut each of these a piece of cardstock that measures 1 inch around each of the sides. So in this case, this is going to be 8 inches by 9 for the covers. I'm going to go ahead and glue down my chipboard onto my paper. I'm using my spacers here that are available at Country Craft Creations. And then for my spine piece here, I did a little boo-boo with my piece of cardstock and didn't necessarily put it to the right measurement, but you want to use a 1.5 inch on either side of that width. So that paper should have been 6 inches by 9 inches in height, so that you could use your 1.5 inch spacer or the yellow one for the side. So what I'm doing here, now that I have all my chipboard pieces on, is for the covers, I'm going to go ahead and cut out all of the 4 corners. And for some reason, I kept using this glue bottle without the top, and it has way too much glue coming out. So of course I'm making a mess here. But I am just wrapping all of those sides around the covers. And I'm going to go ahead and do this on both of the covers. So you can see here I'm using my burnishing tool to make sure to push against the chipboard first by lifting up that piece of paper just slightly, and then I will bend the paper over top of the chipboard and burnish it down again. Now for the spine, I go ahead and burnish all the edges, and then I'm going to cut out those corners just like the cover. But here I'm only going to glue the top and the bottom against the chipboard, wrapping it around. I leave the sides, and I like to burnish on either side of the chipboard piece there for the spine so that you see it really well. And you'll see it a little bit better because I'm going to go ahead and ink around all of my edges real quick. And you can choose to ink or not, but with this paper collection, I wanted to go ahead and ink. Now what I'm doing here is I'm using my centering ruler so that I can go ahead and make markings for my 3 signatures to be evenly spaced in here. Afterwards, I figured out, once I put my book together, that this 3-inch spine is pretty large. You don't have to necessarily make this quite so large, but I did want to have the ability to fill up my junk journal with a lot of stuff. So this is the way that I put together my lay flat book. I like to glue one edge of the cover, and then I'll glue that little flap on the spine itself, and then I stick them down. And I use my scoreboard in order to help me lay flat and make the cover straight. I'm going to go ahead and just use my pencil to mark out a piece of paper so I can cover up the inside of the spine. And you can see that I also went ahead and used my tool in order to punch out holes from the chipboard. And what you're going to see is that once I put this paper on and I ink it, I'm going to do exactly the same thing again. I'm going to use this We Are Memory Keepers Crocodile, and I'm then going to go ahead and put some colored paper onto the inside of my spine here. So once I get that cut and ink it up, I'll need to go ahead and repunch those holes through that paper. And I use my pokey tool if I get paper stuck in the crocodile to just clear it out. So now that I have that done, I'm going to go ahead and stick this string through each of the holes so that I end up with these long pieces of string on the inside. And what I figured out is that I had these too tight for my signatures to go through. So here I am untying it, loosening them up a little bit. Let me go ahead and put my signatures through, slide them in. And once I had them in, then I figured I could tighten up the strings. So I'm just going to tie a little square knot again along the back side, and then I'm going to go ahead and cover my outside of my album here. And once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and just put some hot glue on those ends of the string in order to hold those down. You can see here. And then I'm going to glue on my beautiful A Mother's Love paper onto that outside. And now I'm just going to go ahead and go through and put some paper on the inside and add some little details. And I'm just going to go ahead and let you watch along. Well, thanks everybody for joining me through this project, and I hope to see that you've made one soon. Happy crafting! Bye!